Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going way better than fantastic. And your journey to self-betterment is going way better than fantastic as well. Before I get into today's topic, I just want to let everyone know how grateful I am for your support of this channel. I really mean it. There are many of you who have been on this channel for a long time. And some of you are new here. But I appreciate you all. Some give and donate as well. And I can tell you every little bit does indeed help keep this channel afloat. Also the comments and dialogue and back and forth. This is how things get solved. Or at least dealt with. And a lot of the comments spark ideas for videos that I make that might spark even more thoughts and ideas from you as well. It's an amazing flow in how things happen. I just wanted to say thank you. And that I deeply appreciate you all. With that said, I wanted to talk about something very important. And it's a good illustration of many different parts of where we can see narcissism taking a toxic hold in the fabric of our society. Literally worldwide. You see, there is a channel I've been watching some videos on. The channel is named Catfished. And this isn't the typical style of where they just find out someone's heart got broken because they were talking to someone completely different than who they thought they knew so well. What this channel focuses on are people that are literally scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's one theme I've already seen a few times so far on both the women and men's side. They are talking to this person that they think is real, in hopes of doing better than their current husband or wife. Now, there have been some instances where I've seen where a woman states she was in an open marriage and her husband encouraged her to do such things. Which is another discussion altogether. But here's the thing. Most of these people were wanting to leave the person they were with for either money or looks. For the men it was usually the looks. And for the women it was usually a combo of the money and the looks, with money being at the top of the list. And what amazed me was, some ladies that were upset that their husband was broke, was sending her life savings to someone she has never met to help bail him out of all kinds of made-up problems, hoping in the end it will all pay off to be with this richer than rich guy. And that also looks like a superhero, he has so much muscles. Yet such a woman would never date. Seriously, a man she meets in person that looks normal. Possibly he works out and is in decent shape. And he has a regular job. Because that is beneath her. Regarding the man it was very much the same but slightly different reasons. His wife had gained some weight. And he fell for some woman that was way out of his league. But he fell for it anyways. And he sent her. I have to digress. In both instances it was probably some guy 10 countries away doing the scamming. But he sent her. Again, some large sums of money, hoping it would pay off and he could ditch his wife that had gained weight. Look. I understand that we all want to be doing better financially and we all want to be with someone that looks attractive. I get it. But here's the sick thing that I've noticed on these high-value shows. And you hear this out of both the men's and women's mouth. There is little talk about decency or morality. About care and love. Actually, most say that love is a myth. And this and that and the other. And this is where evil grows and continues on to the next generation. Because it's taught. You see, there is a reason why decent people are pressed down upon. Or at least people that care. Because we are all bad sinners. Every single one of us. Even the mighty King David proved this to be true. No matter how mighty and great. He still made some terrible errors in regards to relationships and his dealings with women and those that he had authority over. Was he great? Yes. Did he err and beg God for forgiveness? Yes. So we have all this nature of bad in us. However, it's up to us to try to do our best to live the way that is good. And this is what separates us and many others from the narcissist. We care about our sins and cry to God for help and forgiveness. The narcissist revels in their evil and loves the harm it causes others. But this is how evil goes from one generation to the next. Being born into homes from parents that look at people as objects because society tells them so. Here's the reality, people. There was a time where a man could support his wife and children on one income. She would stay home and do the much needed work in the home and make sure their children were cared for. Two very important jobs. Extremely important jobs. Now remember, the narcissist does things in stages. So slowly in the beginning, you have a hard time knowing what is happening to you. You might think, is this right? Am I seeing this correctly? But then you go back to sleep like they want you to. And you convince yourself it's all in your head. Then decades later you finally see the plan. Other narcissistic abuse survivors have talked about this fact. They didn't understand something their parents said or did when they were a kid. But then 30 years later, they realized it wasn't just the narcissist parent saying something stupid with no meaning. They finally got to see the true plan play itself out 20 or 30 years later. Well, societal narcissists do the same thing. They move you along nice and slow. So even if you do stand up and say something about what is going on, you will likely be shouted down by the masses and called a nut. Or whatever other shaming words they have for you. Or what they want to label you as. You see, there was a time, though not perfect, the house was together. You had a better chance at finding someone young and marrying young and having a family. A family you can build upon. But something happened. And I think many now are aware of what happened. The father's role has been either removed or turned upside down. To where being a sole provider is almost impossible. You see, there are some high-value man channels out there that in one breath, they say that these certain type of men are less than 1% of the men on the planet. Not considering if that man is a narcissist or sociopath or not. And that most women on the planet, around 80 to 90%, are chasing these men. Ignoring the rest of the men out there. They will say all of this and then metaphorically poop on the men that aren't in this classification of men. And that you need to get it together, otherwise you deserve to be alone. Whereas there was another one of these channels out there. And this person is no longer with us. No matter if you loved him or didn't like him at all. He often said something throughout the theme of his shows. What's wrong with average? What's wrong with average? And this goes back to this man with the woman that gained some weight. I looked at the man. And to be honest with you, they matched at least looks-wise as a couple. Now I don't know if she loved him or not. Or if she treated him well or not. But let's say she did treat him well. And she did care about him. If all you need to work on is helping your wife with her weight, then you're doing pretty good. Same with the man that used to say, "What is wrong with average, ma'am? Most men make about 40,000 to 50,000 a year. What's wrong with that?" The problem is we have pumped into society that your worth as a human being is solely based on certain criteria that have nothing to do with decency and care. You could be a millionaire and be super kind and loving. Or you could be a dirtbag. You could be model gorgeous in looks. And you could be a God-fearing loving person. Or you could also be a dirtbag. Here's what we should be looking at as people. What is this person like as a human being? What are they like as a human being? Then go from there. For the women that were sending money to these scam men, hoping it would turn into them getting even richer at the end. Why not find someone kind and yes masculine that you like in person? and be supportive towards his goals. To the guy that was sending all kinds of money to the woman scammer. Instead of that, he could have hired a professional dietitian for his wife, probably several times over, to help her out with her eating habits. Look, I understand if you are with someone that is abusive, or not treating you decently. But what I want you to think about is all of the decent people you passed up in your life, simply because you were looking for the bigger or better deal. We are told this is just how people are. And I do agree to a certain extent. People want to laugh, but this is where God's laws and God's love is important. Without it, we are just terrible people roaming around hurting one another. No purpose except to use another human being the time we are on this earth, instead of building. And this goes back to the societal narcissistic puppet masters. They knew and know what they are doing. They needed a society built. A thriving society. So they said, the only way this will happen is if we have together families. So that is what was promoted, and that was the model for society. Now they talk about every day. There are too many people. And now we have a system where decent people are scared out of their minds to get married or have children. Why? Because their life could get literally ruined with one misstep. Now do you think that is an accident? Do you? You see, it only takes a couple of generations of things to get really screwed up. And here we are with podcast after podcast, with people pointing out the obvious. That these so-called high-value men, meaning high-earning men, are less than 1%. And instead of saying, hey, what's wrong with average? Like one man used to do. Love him or dislike him. Instead they poop downwards on the men watching, saying you better get it together. Basically letting them know. This is your only shot at having a family. You have to be a millionaire. I remembered hearing on a channel like maybe 10 years ago, where they said that relationships would be regulated to only the rich. And look at what is happening now. But a lot of people don't realize. No matter if you are the man making 40,000 and the woman is making 70,000 a year. If you are together and you both love each other, you can actually build something solid. Because if poop hits the fan, you can watch each other's back and help one another. As opposed to you both twisting in the wind, dying alone in a rest home. With people that don't love you and that don't care about your well-being. Same if you are into a healthy lifestyle and you want someone that is fit. Try to find someone from the start that likes to go to the gym with you. They don't have to be perfect. Nor do you. But work at your health goals together. But the puppet masters don't want you to know this. That God created Adam. And then he created Eve. So man wouldn't be alone. He realized if done right, we could be a good team. Keywords are could. And there comes into play free will. If we listen to God, being a wonderful team will be very productive and we can build a great life. If we listen to Satan, our life will be in misery. And it's not just regarding not just people that put money into scam artists when they already have someone. But it's when people do the same when they don't. My question is, if you are a successful older single lady, before talking to someone online who probably isn't who they say they are, why not meet a regular guy that might have a kind heart? If he's rich, great. But so what if he's not? So what? Same with the guys. Take a look at yourself and understand. What is realistic? There might be an average plain Jane. And yes, by the way, plain Jane women and men can be narcissists too. Sorry to digress. But there might be a plain Jane out there that might love you for you. You see, this online world is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, we have a wealth of knowledge. We have tons of information about narcissism and how to eat better. And how to exercise. And how to solve a math problem. How to speak a foreign language. How to fix a car. And the list goes on and on. But then there is a dark side. It's like it's an extension of the apple of the Garden of Eden. Simply put, Satan got Eve to believe that she could do better than the person that made her, and the person that made Satan, which is our Heavenly Father God Almighty. And then Adam sadly followed and then blamed Eve. And in that instance Satan was trying to reduce God to a nobody. Have you seen these cheating shows, where the person cheated on breaks down and cries? They said they cared about this person, so forth and so on. And the other person, the cheater, is smug, acting like they don't care, ready to trade in a person that loved them with all of their heart for someone who likely cares less. You see, Satan doesn't care about you. That's why he is known as the father of lies. Well, people, I'm here to tell you that the societal puppet masters are lying to you in the same way. They want you to pass away lonely and broken. You see, the one that had that channel that is no longer with us, he used to say, "Hey, look, this is not a video game where you get as many tries as you would like. That person that you were with that did nothing wrong to you, according to you, but you said you just grew apart. This person that you broke the heart of is likely the person that God put in your life to be with you till death do you part. But Satan convinced you to backpack through the wilderness and meet up with one stranger after the next, hoping this will bring you joy. When God gave you joy years ago, but the world convinced you that it was no good. Look, people, the world is a warped place. And it has been turned so far upside down to where only a few people on this planet can do the traditional supporter roles. And yes, we should always try to put your best foot forward. If you can start a business, start one. If you can get a better job, get one. But there are so many people that are going to work their butt off and never know love. We talk about here in the narcissistic abuse community, where we've never had anyone love us for real. Well, there are plenty of people out there that haven't had anyone love them for fake. Yes, you heard me right. They don't even know what it's like to interact with someone. And it's getting to be more and more common. And the more common it gets, the worse off society gets. Because everyone, or mostly everyone, is drinking the juice of narcissism. Me. And treating people like disposable objects. It's really sad. Well, I do think this is a good place for me to stop. I will say I have to get caught up on reading all of the comments, as there have been some good ones coming through lately. So that's my goal coming up here shortly. Also, if you're new, go back and check out some of my older videos. I think you will find them valuable. And I thank you all for your support. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.